Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, and welcome to another episode of Fanalysis, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Ready For, this is Grey91.
Hello.
And this is Antoine Bandelay.
Be water, my friends.
Matt, lead us in with the summary of this episode.
So this is Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2, Episode 14, City of Walls and Secrets. In this episode, everybody kind of gets used to their new lives in Ba Sing Se, which is a city of walls and secrets. And it makes it hard to do everything, like enjoy yourself and make tea in peace without somebody spying on you and stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this.
There's just so many rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, open with the Earth train entering into Ba Sing Se, with the gang kind of discussing the concerns of the city, particularly from Toph.
Yeah. Some of the most powerful earthbenders ever.
Yeah, pushing those, yeah.
It's Toph who says that she remembers specifically not liking Ba Sing Se, right? Or was it someone else?
She's been here before. She's the only one who's been here before.
Yeah.
Even because Aang makes mention of the fact he hasn't been here before. He knows it by reputation and chose not to come here.
Has she been here? I thought it was just a very generic city complaint thing. I didn't realize it was Ba Sing Se in specific.
She says, "Yep, back in the big city, like she's been here before." And
I thought she just meant generally cities, which she had a problem with.
She calls it the big city, and back here, again. And she goes, "It's all just a."
That makes sense. Her family is the richest, or one of the richest in the kingdom, so I'm sure they've been courted there before.
And the way she says everything is from personal experience, all of her, or yeah, you'll see. It's more than just oh, I know this place sucks because I hate places like this. It's you could tell she's been here before.
Oh, okay.
But
I never took it that way personally. The thing I noticed most though is the music. When you enter into that wall and see the scale and the music that kind of blaring out, I love that.
The music in this whole episode cracks me up. It's everybody's mood is so accentuated by this music.
Yeah,
it actually aggravated me at one point. It was so every scene changes on a dime. But
I like the public transportation. I think they represented public transportation pretty well when they had the crazy corn sucker guy.
Yeah, it just plops down. Yeah,
he's an Invader Zim reference.
Also, for shame for freaking Callan's spelling in this document we have right now, he spelled Judy's name wrong and the Daily's name wrong.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
I know he does it phonetically.
I don't look up the names,
which is smart.
I don't have time for that. But yeah,
nobody got time for that.
I'm pretty sure I got Long Feng right. That's all that matters. But yeah, so they meet Judy, who is creepy as I remember her being. And just kind of smiling perpetually and clearly concerned about her life for good reason.
Yeah, she's the start of what I'm talking about when it comes in with her wonky music, where it's we're crazy here. Here's some crazy music, and then Sokka's I've got a mission to talk to the Earth King, and his is all war drums. And back to crazy music when I start talking because I'm Judy, and here's my crazy song. It's it goes on like that throughout the whole episode. It aggravated me when she was around because I had to hear that.
I love how Zhu Li is kind of the opposite of Judy from Korra, complete opposite, because she's stoic and doesn't really care or has no expression most of the time. But then you have Judy, who's putting on this really, really charismatic face. Not even charismatic face; it's a placid smile is what she has.
It's creepy, is what it is.
The Stepford Wives, that creepy we're perfect here story. I think it's an old horror movie.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
We get a nice little kind of a snapshot introduction to the Ba Sing Se culture as well, through the creepiness of Judy when she describes the kind of different layers of and tiers of the city with the class system and the walls and all that jazz. Very somewhat generic in approach, but most cities are the same in this regard. I like the fact that they show it through visuals at the same time. It kind of helps accentuate that for the younger audience.
So they knew he was the Avatar, right? That's why she was sent, to meet them specifically. Okay.
And it's also why they're able to be seen so soon.
Quote unquote.
4 weeks being soon in the kingdom.
Yeah, what was it? 6
to 8 weeks, actually.
Somehow equals a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then the other half, I was going to say, do we want to do the Iroh Zuko continue?
Yeah, let's jump over to Iroh Zuko for the main story, because this kind of can get out of the way in a few scenes, and then we'll go back to the gang and wrap up with their kind of royal treatment, as it were. Because at the same time as all this happening, Iroh and Zuko are kind of settling in to their new home. It was Iroh better than Zuko, understandably.
Right.
I love the line, "Life happens wherever you are, whether you choose to make it or not," because that's such a useful line to take, with you in real life. Zuko's kind of just understandably sulking, and Iroh is just like, "Nope, deal with it. It's going to happen.
There's lots of
for you."
There's lots of lines like that and lots of scenes like that, but it's always that performance of Mako, like the way he says what he says is just really
Life
cool.
happens
I heard
wherever you are. It's awesome.
Yeah, I heard
it's an important
say,
stepping stone too for Zuko, I feel, because as we get closer and closer to the finale where he has to make, the big decision, I feel like this is a very good opportunity for us to see the little tidbits of him not really. He's not satisfied for the decisions that they've had to make so far. Like he doesn't really want to be here. But seeing there's like several things that will come up where there's an opportunity for him to make a new life, but he chooses just not to because that's just not his choice.
You see the kind of lead.
Really.
Yeah, this is still kind of in his struggle mode, and he'll get to a point which we'll get to at some point, where he kind of settles in and accepts it. But for now, we're still kind of getting that lead, and he's on the cusp of that acceptance. And I like these next few episodes for what they kind of offer him in terms of normalcy. Like this is the baseline normal route he could have taken and chooses not to. And I understand because it is a bit mundane, for Zuko's high life.
Taste. Yeah.
Even though, like, spoiler alert, it seems like everybody just likes to hang out in Iroh's tea shop.
I love the outrage. Yeah, when basically this kind of subplot is basically Jet spying on them, trying to catch them out being firebenders, stealing the spark rock and all that jazz. And
well, it's him being like Harry Potter, basically, in his friends. Like he's like super paranoid about like I have my theory, and they're like,
it's Draco Malfoy. He's a Death Eater.
Yeah, like but you don't, like you don't really know what you're talking about. Like, I do, I know. Yeah, it's pretty much that, the whole thing.
And I like that.
I feel bad for him as much as I don't like him because he's correct.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. But at the same time, I enjoy when he actually does have the confrontation with Zuko. How completely like, what the hell is going on? Zuko is. He's just like nonplussed by this. Like, okay, I guess we're fighting now. It's amusing to see his expressions during this. Also, like that the team tried to talk him out of it as well. It was a good you're getting obsessed with this, and it's not.
You're
healthy.
relapsing, bro. You're relapsing.
Yeah, it was nice to see that.
Yeah,
but it's good too because it's like the boy who cried wolf, but I guess the opposite in this case because it's like we've seen your shit before, Jet. Like you need to like relax. We've seen nothing from them that are firebenders.
But yeah, the fight itself as well is the highlight of that subplot. The actual kind of sword fight, which isn't the most common thing in Avatar, is really cool. It's one of the highlights in my mind whenever I think of the duel.
The sword fights are actually pretty good. Like anytime they bust them out.
For sure,
like,
for sure.
Yao are pretty good. The one between Snooty Tooty and Burly Girly or whatever their freaking names were in Great Divide. That was a good fight.
It was 2 seconds long, but I mean,
well, yeah, it was 2 seconds.
It was literally 2 seconds long. No, it's not. It's
still good though. But it's still good. But
it's cool. But it's like a preview. It's like a snapshot of. It's like them trying to find out their technique of how they're going to do it. But this might easily be my favorite sword fight because even though I find what goes on with Sokka and Piandao later very amusing and well animated, I wouldn't call that a fight. But
it's sparring and really it's more of a training thing.
And Zuko really goes for the kill in this one. Like he straight up tries to take Jet's head off with some of these strikes.
Well, Jet is kind of like an extreme force that you kind of have to neutralize that way or not. Because like even when he's about to get arrested and like they're like, "Come on, son," for like taking
he
you.
Still goes.
He tries to kill a Dai Li. Like I mean, if that strike had connected, he would have like cut him right here. So it's like, yeah, goodbye. You're going to prison now. Mission accomplished, right?
Yeah, but the fight itself is dynamic. It uses the environment. It's nice to see the different styles they both have, represented in the swords. Even though it's really super convenient that Zuko has immediate access to a twin blade sword.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, and I also actually like that because one of my favorite points on the animation is because he borrowed them from the Earth Kingdom soldier. It has a green sash. I love the flourishes of like the sash moving throughout the exchange. That's really
beautiful attention to detail as well. Yeah, it's very cool.
And I
believe that's used too in like actual sword fighting as a feint because that flailing around is supposed to offset your opponent. When they're actually fighting.
The kind of length of the blade, or the weapon as a whole, is kind of thrown off if you see the extra blurred extension.
And I also like the they don't do this enough. It's the one part of the show's animation that I wish they did consistently more. Is I like the way that they manipulate the camera when they're going around them.
Yeah.
They don't do that very often at all, and it's really, really cool.
I feel like because it's the budget goes through the roof once you do that, because this is a lot more complicated.
But it's still amazing, and I just wish, oh man, this is so much good. Like even like this is a better usage of that than when they do like their 4-element thing during like the Melon Lord takedown later, because that looks actually a little bit choppy and it's kind of short. Because they had maybe a little too much going on because there was more than just 2 figures in the shot. But this was really cool. I also like how when we first got here, jumping back to the beginning when they got off the train, there was like nobody at the train station, and like because there's the crowds is everywhere else. They're at the Earth Kingdom party and they're watching this, so they saved that budget as well for like manipulating background stuff. But just for a city that for the train station to be empty, I was like, this is kind of funny. But I get it now.
Another thing I want to bring attention to as well is the transition. Halfway through this fight, during one of the first parts, I think it cuts away with the blade transition, and the slashing kind of across the screen kind of lights up with a shine and a certain sound effect that brings us to the royal family again, or back to the palace. I really love that one. They don't very often, as with the camera motion, they don't often do kind of high action transitions in this show, because the cuts between the kind of main plot and the subplot tend to be a little bit more subtle, because the well, for whatever reason, that most of the time the subplots are completely separate and don't need that kind of high action thing. But even though that's the case here, they choose to do it anyway because it's kind of a nice smash cut, and it worked really well for me. It was really cool to see.
Now that you mention it, they don't really cut away that often, like in the middle of a fight, you know, unless there's like some really long one, like a finale fight or something where there's other stuff going on. But yeah, do we have much more to say?
Not really. We'll get back to the end of Jet's story when we get to the end of the gangs. Yeah, because it's tied in terms of how it's executed. But yeah, so jumping back to the gang. Obviously the tea house is set up as well. Iroh's tea house is the best in the city already. Day one.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You're due for a raise. Day one. Excellent. Nice job. But yeah, the gang. They're being handled by Judy. They're kind of arriving back at their new home and wanting to go and search for Appa, which she's curtailing because she's standing creepily behind them and saying, "Nope, don't tell him anything," to every single person he meets or they meet. And we've got another Robin character as well. Another Robin.
Right. And the reason why that it came about is because they can't meet with the Earth King.
Yeah.
Wait, we mentioned that in the podcast. Sorry, I thought
we did. Yeah. No, it was
never
a
mind.
month or 6 to 8 weeks actually. Is the wait they have.
And so they're like, all right, fine, we have time to find Appa. Right.
So yeah, they go have a look, and she puts off pretty much everyone they ask, which is unusual because the questions that they're asking aren't to do with the war. So you'd think that why would she bother? But apparently any
just
activity is unusual.
Because Longfeng is holding him.
Oh sure, but how much does she know that? Do you reckon?
Don't think that's happening quite yet. That's only because I just did the timeline video. I know this for a fact.
We don't really know that, do we?
Another few weeks.
We don't really know that this is happening at the exact same time, do we? Oh no, actually no, yeah, we do because we see the gang. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do because we see the gang moving around after that. Yeah, so there hasn't happened yet. So yeah, and she wouldn't really know anyway, even if that had happened, most likely. So a bit weird, but it's nothing major.
I feel like she would know, but or could know easily. But you're saying it's not happened yet because
it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, because the gang have some more Ba Sing Se stuff in that episode. So
well, then where is he right now? Because
right now, okay. If
probably
you give me like
circus,
a second,
right?
I can let you know exactly where he is.
The reason why I'm asking that is because it'll be really funny to me if he's not.
And Aang said, Aang's like, I can sense him, I can feel he's here.
Oh yeah,
if he's like not here, then it's like whatever, Aang, you don't know what you're talking about.
Because he ain't there yet. All right, Appa's Lost Days, I'll tell you exactly where he's at.
I'm pretty sure he's with the circus at this point, right?
Yeah, he's probably that's would be my assumption, but I don't know for sure if that's the case.
Or on the way via the
Appa's Lost Days. Okay, so the days they get to 116. Okay, so 116 he's actually asleep right now after he had the fight with the boar. So right now Appa's sleeping and he's you could say he's nearby Ba Sing Se, like he'd be outside the walls somewhere nearby, but he's not inside Ba Sing Se quite yet. And then he's about to get taken by, or no, he's about to meet up with Suki very soon, like in the next day.
I love that fight. That fight is just fantastic.
So, yeah, that's a great fight.
How does he wind up back with Suki? Like, if he's near Ba Sing Se? When you say near, you just mean he's like...
Just, in the vicinity, like between Full Moon Bay and Ba Sing Se. Like he's in
but
that
not like
area.
But not like directly outside.
No, not directly outside.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, the gang meet Pong, their next door neighbor, who warns them about the Daily and just the general talking of
Oh,
the war.
you remember
how
this
that's not a
guy's
good thing.
name? I didn't remember his name. Yeah,
I don't know
he's
the guy's
just
name either.
instead of old men in the woods, they found old men in apartment.
Yep.
And that's it.
Middle-aged man.
He's
He's,
like,
just a lower
This place is
governmental official.
creepy and weird. I don't know why it's always an old man, but it is.
When
But
I was
yeah,
like the bring up the kind of the world building of like it took him a long time to earn
Yeah,
this
3
house, so a
years.
lot of them are in these positions because they did right by something and they're holding on to those possessions or their homes or property, whatever it may be, because they know they'll just get kicked out. It's like very much a totalitarian kind of government with a puppet king.
the figurehead.
He's like the worst character in the series.
Yeah,
for me,
one off.
basically.
They really don't do royal families very well in this show. Well, that's not true. Earth Kingdom royal families. Earth Kingdom royal families.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only 2 members.
Yeah.
No, I guess there's 3.
Or 2 royal
But,
families, because there's only them and then the Fire Nation.
Yeah, but I mean, there's 2
And the
members
Water
of the
Tribe.
3.
Water Tribe,
members
are they
of
a royal?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
they're
princess.
royal.
Oh yeah,
Princess.
princess. Yeah, you're right.
They
You're
don't
right.
feel like it though because it's tribal.
And
It's
Sokka's
a
a
bit different
prince.
style.
Hello. I mean, as we know. So,
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
But,
the gang prep for the party. Toph kind of makes a joke about how they're all rubes, and she chose to be. So it's a bit different with that.
she chose to be a rube. I'm a rube and I'm proud of it.
But yeah, they get
That's the
schmancied
great,
up.
this place is weird scene. That's the
Yeah.
classic.
It's
Or
a
that- we
good
already
one for
talked about
humor.
that, didn't we?
Yeah, with the
Oh yeah, because he has a pet bear and not like a platypus bear or like a buzzard wasp.
Yeah.
I really like as well this sequence when with Momo when they're just heading out, they've kind of already got
That's
schmancied
my
up and
favorite
moving
Momo
out.
joke in the
That-
whole show.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
just
my favorite Momo
the
joke in the
gong
whole
with the
series.
dong
Yeah.
as it's walking
Yeah.
past. I genuinely chuckle at that, and I'd forgotten
It
was
gets
that
me
moment.
every time. I love it.
It's just brilliant.
Even though I know it's coming. Because
Yeah.
I don't usually laugh at stuff when I know it's coming again. But
Yeah.
that gets me.
And Momo in particular doesn't usually make me laugh at all. But this one
Yeah.
did. This got me chuckling. Okay, well done.
I like him in this whole episode actually because when he's hiding under Aang's hat and he's got like a cue like in the back of his
Yeah.
head, it's just Momo's tail. And so I kind of that's funny. Yeah.
It is funny.
But anyway, so they get ready to go to the party, right?
Indeed, and they attempt to get in with the same trick they used for the crossing with Toss Pass, and it doesn't quite
Yeah,
fly,
yeah.
which I'm really happy about because it wouldn't do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then they meet Luther, or Long Fang.
Yeah.
sorry.
Or Lex Luthor. Like you should explain that to people who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but I like how he's like as shrewd as like Severus Snape, but he's not like as
Sneering.
obvious about the fact that he's like you could kind of see him squinting like what the fuck's going on here, but okay, I'll play along and just see like, where this is going. Of course you can come to the party and I'll find out what you're up to. There's also that little creepy bit where they like turn away from him to go off and then he's just there in front of him. I was like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Teleports.
How did he get in front of him?
Use that Earth
I like to
slide.
think- I like
Yeah,
to think
exactly.
that
He's
as
just
they were-
stones the
Yeah,
looking
as
up.
they were turning this way, he slid the earth that
Yeah.
way, so they didn't notice it. Yeah. It's like kind of like when you're looking that way and someone taps you this way, and they're like over there.
Yeah, very cool. But yeah, I like the fact that he doesn't leave them as well. Like if he just wandered off immediately, I'm like, oh god, really? You're that stupid. But yeah, that was a nice note and detail. And he's also very ominous as well. Like for someone who isn't, like you said, Snape style, sneering around and looking literally like a bat. He has this nice ominous presence.
It's because he's well dressed and carries himself like in a very poised way, where he looks like he has a stick up his ass and he has beady eyes.
Yep.
When you're drawing characters that if they have beady eyes, it means they're kind of like mistrustful, dangerous, untrustworthy.
And that voice helps at all. Helps as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. But Sakura and Aang obviously don't get the cue to get in because Toph and Katara are occupied, so they become busboys. As Toph,
Which
Toph
works
suggested.
better than the disguises of Toph and Katara.
They just go in, no problem at all. It just makes it easy. And then Aang blows cover in the party because he's
I like how did you do that on purpose?
For a moment, I don't think
not
so.
particularly. Not particularly. No, I didn't.
You did it on purpose.
I wish I had though, because that would have been a good one.
For a moment, I thought he forgot he was a waterbender because she got wet, and he could easily have just like.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
he, like the
it
way
would have still
Katara
revealed
did.
His default
Bender.
drying method is always air, though. Like he's been so used to
I
it all
know,
his
but
life.
it's so
It's
much
funny.
less efficient.
Yeah, it's
It's
funny.
so much less efficient.
He could just extract the water, but no, he doesn't.
Yeah, which he later does in the same scene where he's like, "Oh, let me just pick up the water and do curly or like water colors or whatever, sparkling."
But it makes sense, like Callan was saying, that it's such in the moment, so you're gonna go straight to your default. When you're
I'm pretty sure he
surprised.
forgot he could do it. The way. I like it better that way.
Yeah, it is
I
funny.
mean, he's only been doing it for a little while, so it makes sense that he would forget.
Well, they also inadvertently doom Judy, who is in like full-on panic mode
She's
at this
not
stage.
doomed. She's just going back to the farm to be rehabilitated. She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah, and they obviously get pulled aside by Longfeng again for the final scene, which is really well done. Actually, this is probably my favorite scene in the episode in terms of actual substance. With outside of the fight, obviously, we get the transition between the gang kind of learning about the true nature of Ba Sing Se and how it's run and the real nature of things, really. At the same time as we get Jet's hypnotization, hypnosis, whatever.
Hypnosis, yeah.
Brainwashing.
Brainwashing would be the better one. As the kind of awesome little lantern is spinning around. I love the style of that because there's no real kind of modern equivalent they have available at the moment. So putting it that kind of earthbending tilt on it, we're still keeping it simple with the lantern. I thought was really effective. But more importantly, the transitions between when he's talking and getting the kind of juxtaposed comparison of Jet put in the same place was really effective for me.
Yeah, and it's really good build up for like an antagonist that I feel kind of gets cut off at the knees and doesn't really go anywhere. I really like the way they built him up and the fact that he kills somebody. I mean, even technically, Azula doesn't actually kill anyone. Nor
No,
does
she
Ozai.
doesn't.
So, I mean, they both try to, but they don't. He succeeds, and he doesn't. I mean, he gets a comeuppance in that, like, she, Azula's him, but he, I don't know. I feel like he just dropped off the face of the map at that point, where I could have used him being put in his place by the team or somebody at some point. But that's just me.
He needed
But
something
it's really,
to
really
carry
effective
on.
build up. Yeah.
And again, I think you're right. It's the fact that we had such a strong setup because this guy was introduced out of nowhere, no lead in, and then got this really good first episode to kind of establish who he is and the kind of threat he represents for not just the gang but the city. This is someone who deserves his comeuppance on that scale, and we just don't really get it at all. But at least he's beaten in his own game,
Yeah, and he's a bender, but he doesn't get like a real fight either. So like,
especially when he's the leader of the Dai Li, who are awesome. They're some of the best benders to watch.
Yeah, cool.
Which you even see in this episode when they kind of take Jet. And
It would
grab
be
him
dope
by
too if he had like a fight with the Azula, and so it wouldn't have just been him immediately being like, "Oh, you win," versus like, "No, we fight like kind of like a mini Agni Kai kind of," and then he gets defeated.
I'm kind of okay with that. I just wish he'd been like her bitch, like after that point.
Yeah,
he's
like actually
her
use
something,
the second command,
or like
yeah.
this is beneath me. You deal with this, or like, or I'm leaving Ba Sing Se in your hands or whatever, but you report to me, or like making him feel important when he's not.
It would have been really effective to watch.
The White Lotus could have whipped his ass when they come to Ba Sing Se. That would have worked for me. But that didn't happen. So.
Yeah, lots of ways they could have gone with it. I also like the precision bending that the Dali do with the kind of creepy hands.
It's like the only memorable thing about them. It's awesome.
The when they take Jet and then when they take the gang in the royal room.
It's simultaneously kind of over the top and cool, and at the same time it's very minimalist. It's like a nice balance too.
And the motion and the sound as well. It's so unique to for earthbending because usually it's a big old boulder being thrown. So just that kind of swift clipped example of it is very cool. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. That's the final scene, and I think it was a very good close.
I just want to say real quick, I don't even like earthbending that much, but they make it look like awesome.
Yeah,
they do.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah,
Probably it's like the least interesting visually to look at.
Generic earthbending,
But yeah,
for sure.
Dai Li is always very, very good.
Yeah, it's all taste, but yeah, that is my opinion.
The hyper efficient earthbending is always awesome, but the most of the time it is just let me raise this rock and fling it at you by the generic style. And it's also the moveset. The moveset is just stomp, punch. It's like that's unless you get like the actual elite people, it's just really boring to watch compared to every other bending. Except I guess fire bending, but that's more dynamic and in motion anyway, because they mostly just punch if they're just generic. But yeah, that's the wrap up of the episode. I really like the effective close on this one because the fact you don't very often get like those two scenes melded together like this. It does happen elsewhere in the series and very effectively there as well. But having it here, I like how it blends the themes, it blends the two stories together in the kind of joint parts because until now they've been separate. And the music and just everything is really effective here for me.
The music infuriated me, but it was
I was with you in terms of how kind of like weirdly clashing it was,
Yeah.
and just kind of jumping around. But
I think it's overall a positive because it affected my mood
Yeah.
in the way that I would be affected if I was confronted by a Judy, but it just made me so mad. I hated it. But anyway.
Yeah, and the effect of the lantern as well, it span round. And obviously, the idea behind it was cool, but also the visual and auditory effect was very cool. I liked the feeling it gave you as you watched it, because that's what it was supposed to be doing. So yeah, but that's the episode. That is City of Walls and Secrets. Any closing
See you next
thoughts?
I really like this version of Ba Sing Se. Like we got like the kind of like the full burst of what it is, more or less, and seeing little bits of it, like when we talked about the old guy and like how he attained his home, or like even talking to the university student that they spoke to at some point, like small stuff like that I like a lot. And a lot of the small tidbits from Zuko, though they don't matter too much in the context of just this one episode, I like what it's building towards. So those are my two highlights. I think the city itself, and then the little tidbits with Zuko.
I agree. A lot of nice background world building in this one, as well as the culture, not just the city, visually or
It's
functionally.
like when you guys mentioned that, it's funny because I don't know where I'll put this in like my top 10, but I have a feeling it'll be there for some reason. I'm just not sure what that reason is.
Are you sure? Like
I'm not sure
Yeah,
about that for myself.
book two?
yeah.
Yeah.
Book two
Book
standard?
book two is a lot of
Probably-
amazing episodes.
It's probably gonna be
Listen,
lower.
'cause Avatar State's not going to be in there. Well, maybe it is. What's
Really?
it?
I was
Avatar
gonna say-
Day? Avatar
Yeah,
Day.
right. I was going to say. I
Avatar
thought
Day's not gonna be there.
Avatar
Avatar
State
Day.
would be for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be there. I'm standing by that. As I'm
All right. Well,
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, see you guys next week. For what's the next episode?
something about.
I can't remember
It's
the name.
either Lake Lao Guy or Tales of Ba Sing Se.
Is it
I
Tales
think it
of
might be
Ba Sing Se?
Tales of Ba Sing Se at this point, because
Awesome.
they know
That'll be
that.
a really cool one to cover because that's kind of unique in its
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, actually.
See,
More than I
and that one's
thought
got-
I would have.
That one's not going to be in my top 10 unless I have like a really serious evaluation, because it's got one awesome bit and everyone knows what it is, and every other list is good, but not like amazing,
I really like the
But
episode
anyway.
overall as well. But yeah, you're right
I
on
like
that
the
one.
anthology of it.
Yeah. Anyway, we should cover that next week. See you guys then. Hope you've enjoyed. But let us know in the comment section down below anything you think we've missed or want to cover in greater detail. I'm ready for, and I still don't have an outro.
Oh yeah, I haven't done this in so long. Like, outros, whatever.
That's your outro. Okay, cool. I'm Antoine Baddeley. Peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.
Goodbye.